Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Today I'm analyzing why it is that people aren't doing something, whatever it is. Are you ready? Well, let's get started. Every day I meet leaders, talk to leaders, and they tell me about their frustrations with their teams. People aren't doing something that they want them to do, or they're not doing something the way they want them to do it. In other words, there's some performance gaps, and they're wondering how to figure out how to close those performance gaps. It's a great question. It's a practical question, and there's lots of things we could do to try to determine the reasons why. I'm going to give you just one question to start with. Are you ready? Here's the question. Is it will or skill? Yeah, that's a clever little question with two words that rhyme in it. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. Will, do they want to? Because if they don't want to, they're not likely going to, right? And second is skill. Do they know how to? If I don't know how to do it, I can't do it either. So is it will or is it skill? So let's talk about how we can deal with each of those just a little bit. First, motivation, purpose, and meaning. What we need to make sure our folks have is a clear reason why. If they understand why this matters, if it matters to them, they're most likely going to be more successful at it. And so if we can help them find the will by finding the why, we can help them have greater success. Second, clarity. We have to make sure people are clear. I may not want to because I'm not clear on what it is, but clarity also helps us with skill because I need to know exactly what is needed as the member of the team. Now I'm talking about clarity of expectations, clarity of benchmarks, a clear picture of what success is. Next, training. If you determine that the gap is around the skill, then perhaps people need some training, formal or otherwise. Maybe it's on the job, maybe it's formal, whatever it is, based on the specifics of the situation. But training alone may not solve it. You may also need to consider coaching. Yes, as the boss, how can you give them the coaching that they need? Or who else on the team might be able to support them and coach them so that they can build the skill? Either way, will or skill, we need to be able and be willing to provide support for people. Support them. As the leader, we need to give people the support both psychologically and mentally as well as physically so we can help them deal with either will or skill. Close those gaps so that they can start to do what you need them to do. So, a couple of final thoughts. Number one, you need to make sure that you take time to determine which it is. Is the gap a will gap or a skill gap? Take the time to determine it because too often leaders have a starting point that they go to. So I want to end by having you think about how to check your assumptions. Too many leaders immediately go to, well, they don't want to. Or they immediately go to, I don't understand why they can't do it. So make sure that you're not jumping to a conclusion or an assumption that it is will or it is skill. Because if you'll do the things we've talked about and you'll determine which it is, you are in a much better position to help that person succeed, which of course was the whole point to start with. Let me summarize with today's tweet. If someone isn't doing what you need or expect, ask yourself, is it a lack of will or skill? You may be listening to this on our podcast, the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. But if you're not, did you know that there is the Remarkable Leadership Podcast? Each week, not only do we replay these Remarkable TV episodes, we also each week interview and have a conversation with a leadership expert or an expert leader, helping you take your own leadership to the next level and become the leader you were born to be. You can learn all about the Remarkable Leadership Podcast right here. I hope you'll subscribe. And either way, I'll be back here next week with another episode.